This is another one of my tips and tricks videos about using HGSI Investor. And since we're in the middle of earnings season, this is a good one to discuss right now. I'm going into the designer, and I will go into my reference groups, and we'll select all securities. Then I will click through to the warehouse views. And if you look under Ian Woodward and Ron Brown and go down to folder number 13, I have three different earnings views here. The first one was the one that I did originally, and it's showing columns for the intraday data. This one is too, but they've been moved over to the right, and it's just a little different arrangement, but this is the one I primarily use. 01A. Now, since this is a commonly used view, I'm going to click on the Choose Create View. Let me show that to you. Click on this icon to the left of the pencil, and I'm going to move this one up to my favorite W&B warehouse views. Or you could if you can make a column and you can move it all the way up to the top of favorite views, but this will work for now. So I'm in here, and now I'm going to make this full screen. Now what this does is it looks for stocks greater than $1 trading 100,000 shares and greater than 0 on the earnings due date. So I needed a way to get these to the top of the list, and the easy way to accomplish that is with a combo ranking. And this combo ranking is earnings due with a down arrow weighted at 100%. And what that does is when the raw combo arrow is pointing up, the stocks with earnings due are going to be on a descending date. Now these are 128, which is today, and notice that when I scroll down here, I stop on the last 128.16, and there are 155 securities that are reporting earnings today. Now this is the information we get from bar chart. I always double check everything in Thinkorswim. But this gives me a really good list. Well, it gives me a list of every stock that's reporting today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a group from this list. But before I do that, I want to add one more thing to this view. I did this yesterday, and this view in the future will contain this. But I want you to do it yourself because I may not release any views for a while. So just edit the current view by clicking on the pencil. Go over here to search and type MKT for market cap, and click on that, move it in to your columns to display, and now I'm going to move it up near the top. And I'll explain why I did this once I get this in here. Okay, I want it after the industry. So when I click on OK, notice that there is a market cap over here. Now the next thing I want to do, this is what I would do every day. I would just go down to locate that last date of the current day, and then go under my file menu and make group from list. So the first thing I do, so I don't screw this up, is I put the number in 155. I get this number from over here on the left, and I will type a date in. I had that on my clipboard, but I put the date of the earnings in, and it goes into a folder under my non-index groups. These are all the groups I keep every day. And then I have an earnings due folder, and then I click on the appropriate month, and I just say OK, and I don't need to generate an index for it. Now I have this group of stocks, and it's only stocks that are reporting earnings today. Now I'm going to go in, and the market's been all over the place today. So you probably know if you view this in time, but I want to go under my intraday, update intraday now, and this is going to fill these columns over here. Just about done. And it is 10:50 in the morning, so some of these have been trading quite a while. It's always good to know the earnings date because you can see what can happen with these stocks. Now here is 1-800-Flowers down 10.3% today, and the percent intraday volume to the 50-day moving average volume is 416%. Obviously, the earnings were not what was expected. By the way, this is a chart that I'm modifying, and you currently have a version of this, and this, when I'm happy with it, I'll be sending it out to you. But you can see I have put a lot more information in these boxes, and I have made the font bold so they stand out more. But what this is showing me is the price change for the day. The intraday range is trading at the very low end of the range, and the volume compared, the intraday volume compared to the 20 and the 50 day. This information was over here before. I have just made it bold. Now this isn't such a great stock, obviously, but what I do before the market opens is I try to get a feel for what is reporting today. Now here's a couple of stocks that are not assigned to groups yet. The data provider hasn't put them in. I'll have to notify George about that, and they'll get assigned to groups. But I can either scroll down and get a feel for it, which I normally do, or I bring up the spectrum analyzer and then I just go to industry, and today it tells me that 12.26% of the stocks that are reporting today out of the 155 are banks, followed by semiconductors, and then application software and so on. I primarily just look at the larger number to determine what's going on. Now we've had a lot of banks reporting this week. They report early, and that is the case again today. Now the next sort, and the reason I put this in, I want to see the big dogs that are reporting today, so I sort on market cap and look who's reporting today. Microsoft, Amazon, Alibaba, Visa, Altria, Amgen, Bristol Myers, Eli Lilly, and Celgene, and so on. So these are the stocks that are going to move the market more than likely. And as I look over here, now some of these report before the bell, some report after the bell. And Amazon, the anticipation is that it is going to report good earnings. How do I know that? Well, I know it's after the bell, and the percentage price change one day is up 1%, and the intraday volume is currently running well ahead of normal. Let's just take a look at this. It had a sell signal yesterday in that market reversal. And here's what we have now. We have a spinning top. It gapped open. It traded higher, then it traded lower. Now it's trying to move back up. Now I've got this yellow line in here. I probably should change that color against the white background. And it's easy to do that. You just edit the indicator and select volume. I'll make this a, I don't want to make it a red line. I don't want to make it a green line. Let's make it a orange line. And then this changes to orange. And this is the estimated volume for the end of the day if it keeps moving up at this pace. And you can see that it's trading tremendous volume. Now, evidently, some people and institutions like to go in and trade a stock like this based upon earnings expectation. But as you can see, it or as you know, this can be a risky proposition. Now let's look at some of these earnings that are out. Baba came out before the open, and look what happened. This is another thing about trading earnings. You buy the opening ticks. The market was up sharply today. Earnings look good, revenue looked good, and what happens? It trades, opens near the high of the day, and then trades down from about 72, 72.50 it looks like, and it got all the way down to 67 approximately on that market sell-off. Today is an extremely dangerous day. The market's all over the place, and people that bought the opening ticks have been hammered on a lot of these stocks and the S&P. So I can just look down here and see what these stocks are doing intraday, how they're reacting to earnings and potential earnings as they come out late in the day. You can sort on these columns, see which ones are doing best. Here's SunCoke Energy, up sharply. I would have to look to see when it reported, but right here you can see the intraday change on this cheap stock is 26.52%, still down 87.5% from its 52-week high and 33.7% from the beginning of the year. I mean, this is just, well, I hate to say a junk stock, but look at there's a lot of revenue, but the earnings have been terrible. The earnings must have come in better than expectations. Now, what I do next is, if I'm really tracking these during the day, I'll copy symbols to the clipboard, and then I will minimize this, and I'll bring up Thinkorswim. Now, this is earnings today. I have this up here. I just click on it, and I go down to select earnings today. I import, paste from the clipboard, and I'm going to replace the current symbols. So now I have real-time quotes on these stocks, and the sort remains the same. Now here is that SunCoke Energy, which I just looked at. By the way, this is a shared chart from Don Kaufman. Those of you who have been watching Theo Trade, it's been very educational. You can never stop learning. There's always plenty to learn. But here is this chart. Let's look at some of the other more familiar names. Here, let's go back and do this. Let's sort on market cap. Copy symbols to clipboard as a comma separated list. Then I go back, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. I want to edit earnings today. I'm going to import, paste, and replace. Save. And now I go up here under symbol, no sorting, and I have the large market cap stocks at the top of the list. If you look at this, Microsoft, Amazon, Baba, and I go back to my list, Microsoft, Amazon, Baba, Visa, Altria, Amgen, and so on. So this is a market cap sort. I can see what the big dogs are doing. Look at Baba. This is a 1-minute chart. Let me bring a daily chart over from my other window. Here is where Baba opened. I showed you this. It traded down to here, and it's not faring well. Now let's look down here. The estimates were for 70 cents, came in at 97.7, and it's still falling. So earnings, just because a stock beats earnings, that really doesn't mean much. Does anybody trust the numbers from Alibaba? I don't know what the problem is. But notice that I have the VPA on here on all of these charts. This is the VPA that's available in the public domain for Thinkorswim, and it works quite well. It's very comparable to what we have in HGSI. Now let's look at a couple more stocks. CAT reported better earnings because of cost control. Same story. Futures were way up before the market. Some opening bids or opening probably market orders going in on this. Opened up at 62 bucks, trading at 59.33 now. Volume is it's running pretty heavy. Let's go into HGSI and get a feel for that. Anyway, you can see how these programs work together. Okay, where's CAT? Spacebar CAT takes me to CAT. The volume based upon 15 minutes ago is running about 216.5% above normal. I went through this very quickly, well, 16 minutes longer than I wanted to, but this is something I wanted to show you just how to keep track of the earnings during earnings season and use HGSI in conjunction with Thinkorswim or whatever real-time program you use. Thank you for listening.